La voce about teenager. Corruption bastard. Just by nature, girl.
Ngingathi kunokuphuma lenyama balashi. Asiyaberisi. Scuba.
Yebo baba.
This song.
Sure.
You hate it. Lana abadlala nencingosi yakho ubhekile ucima iTV. So baba uwe lo wena.
Alathi le bayihlazile nje.
Shanga siphathe phela bashanga siphathe cisha phuka inyawo. Ngapha ihukuzuka ngobuso phansi. I think abanye abantu mababhekana lengi bariwenda le part.
Yeah, yes bayithi. Uthembazwane mara before singena ku topic. Uthembazwane he plays street football nyana no kasi football ne.
He's even worse when you see him live.
Yeah.
When you see him live.
Yeah. Spectacular.
I think it's what sets him apart from other players.
Raw talent.
He stuck to it, foot. He stuck to it. He never changed to Tembazwane. Ibola leli maloko evolve nalo, but his style of play has never changed.
Keeps it authentic. Keeps it South African in fact.
Exactly. Which is what I think is what made Uspusu Zuma successful overseas.
Oh yes. Indoda eshamathambo, indoda ineblonde.
Yeah, but Stephen Pinard, they never changed the flair yasemzansi, you know.
And that's what the world wants.
Exactly. Hence I'm saying with
that's what the world wants, Fethu. And that's the reason why we are not in the World Cup. Because asinaso style of play sethu is indigenous.
That is, you see, you look at the likes of Brazil. We know which Joga Bonito. Yeah, they
did that from, you know, the group stages up until the quarter final. Well, not, you know,
up until they got knocked out. Bafana no coach, but bashaya yini konje
what happened in
the World Cup?
What happened in the World Cup?
Speaking of Brazil, World Cup, I expected them to go as far as the final.
They were the clear favorites.
For me, I think the build-up to World Cup, you could sense the confidence.
Come closer. Yeah.
You could sense the confidence. In camp, the positivity, togetherness,
chemistry.
Wise,
you felt it outside, which you see these ones,
they're going far in the World Cup. And I think even leading to that game where they lost to Croatia, I feel they also feel with it. In fact, they know they should have won that game with 90 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
They knew had they should they leave any game for that matter, World Cup, go beyond 90 minutes and extra time. Bangafika kuma penalty, they will struggle. They will go out.
They had never played a penalty, in fact.
Yeah. So
since
for a very, very long time.
So
World Cup.
Basically, what you're saying, maybe let's say the top 5 favorites to go the 2022 FIFA World Cup before it started. Now it has ended. We all know. The champions are Argentina.
Yeah.
The clear favorites from the beginning, especially after that first match, because you know the confidence was not there even for the current champions, Argentina. Ne? But the clear favorites, as it's before the first match, it was who? Brazil. Number 1, Brazil.
Number 1 for me, Brazil.
Not the current champions, which was France then.
No, for me, number 1, Brazil.
Number 2?
And number 2, the current, the newly
Argentina
champions, Argentina. Number 3 was Belgium for me.
No.
For me, Belgium.
The list is shaky, say.
No, for me, Belgium.
Your star player being De Bruyne, and who else? There's no one else.
Yeah, but they kept almost the same team that they had from 2018. So that's istayela sokuthi sidlala kanjani nokuthi ubani yamazi ukuthi udlala kanjani was still there. The identity of the team was still there. So for me now, I expected them to go at least as far as the top 4. You know, after
but
Belgium,
yeah,
Spain, for me, I
yeah,
expected them to do better, even
definitely,
though I had
definitely.
question marks about them. But I'll tell you which question marks are
Okay,
those.
later. Yeah.
Number 5, talks again around this nation prior, leading up to the World Cup. I expected them to go as far as top 4 now. England.
Good on paper, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
expected them, Uguti, uh, they'll go as far as, Belgium was not on my list before. It was Portugal on my list.
Yo.
But the Portugal, the drama before World Cup, got Ronaldo. That's what made me go to keep Portugal, because whether he liked it or not, what happened with him before the World Cup affected the team.
Psychological.
Yeah, affected the team,
Mm.
because you look at the coach now. There were certain games where he substituted. There was a game where he substituted Ronaldo, and you can see with Ronaldo he was not happy about that. He went out kicking and screaming like a 5-year-old.
He felt like, what's happening to Manchester United is exactly what's happening to Portugal. I'd agree with him. But basically, that is your top 5.
Yeah.
Excluding Portugal.
Yeah.
That was the top 5. Brazil, Argentina, Belgium, Spain, and then England.
Yeah.
My top 5. I think because we saw Brazil before the first match. I don't wanna go straight to. I saw France, ne? And this was when Benzema was still in the pipeline.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, I France Mara. They still in a way have the same squad, and statistically, France should be the favorite of any World Cup. Why? 1996 final.
98.
98 final, 2006 final, 2018 final. Basically, this past 25 years, they've been in 3 finals.
Yeah.
And there's only been, before this final, there only had been 4 finals.
Yeah, they lost 2 finals and won 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Won 2, yes, lost 2
Yeah, they won
yesterday.
98,
Yes.
they won 2018.
So I felt like these guys, they're always the underdogs. QATAR, I really, they have one of the best squads. So France was my number 1. And then on paper, when I was reading England, in Yabona, they have attackers sharp. They have midfielder well balanced. On paper, excellent. And the Mautubeka Goma Euros, they were performing good.
Exactly.
So they were like my number 2. That's okay, sharp. World Cup we winning only based on paper. You also see the chemistry around, and that's when I picked up Brazil. Which they've been doing good, because prior to their loss, school World Cup lena against even Cameroon, they had not lost for a very long time. Okay, sharp. Brazil is there is my number 3. Then you look at the squad list. Mabas keeper Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal and Argentina.
Yeah.
You like attacking yakhona Joe. World class player kuneboy eceda ukwini league kwe-AC Milan, that dark boy ngikhohlwe igama lakhe. Uyabona that
Yeah, Uliao.
yes. I see him, I see Ronaldo, I see Bruno Fernandes, I see Felix. Joe. Joe. These are players that can, make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Equally so with the Argentina, kuno Messi, kuno abodibhala ebhentshini, kuno Martinez ebhentshini, Joe. Ebhentshini, Joe.
Those are top players.
Those are top players.
They can walk in any national team.
Yes, yabona. And the mawuthi uyabheka vele even their midfielders, ama-player okay wakhuluma ngabo kuDiphalo, like no sharp, not as well known as these other ones, because they are not like mainstream, but they're equally very good.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, based on your attacking, because World Cup beating a goal, you need goals,
Yeah.
but you mustn't concede. And I felt that's where France and maybe England had the advantage. Then immediately after that first game, group stage, that's when everybody had a question mark. Argentina lost.
Yeah.
Brazil won spectacularly. Brazil was number one all of a sudden. If France, they performed, like France do. But also another team that people started thinking about was Netherlands.
Yeah, but I always felt Netherlands didn't have enough. The fact ukuthi ubani le boy lena yakuBarcelona, Memphis was injured.
Yeah.
That was a problem for them because going into the matches are serious.
Yeah.
They were going to need him fully fit,
Hmm.
Memphis,
Memphis,
because
yeah.
if you look at that team, they never really had a star player that could carry that team. Like Mbappe did France yesterday,
yeah.
like Messi did Argentina
They thought
yesterday.
they did.
Yeah,
But,
they never really had one. Memphis was their main guy
yeah.
to getting goals up front.
Yeah.
Him not being fully fit was an issue, So I always felt, okay, they were also a good team, but I always felt with him not being fully fit is a problem. And going back to the question marks that I was telling you about in Spain,
Yeah.
they had a good team,
Yeah.
very good team, but it was very inexperienced team. They lacked players who carried the team, especially on that game where they came in Morocco. They needed players abafana Ramos who tell him, calm down, you have the game in your hands. You just need to be patient. The goal will come. Because you could see when the goal was not coming, they were starting to panic, taking shots outside the box.
Frustrated.
Yeah, they were, because in Morocco, they frustrated them.
Morocco is stubborn.
Very stubborn.
Yes.
And it played right into their hands when that Spanish team started being frustrated, my chance, couldn't create proper chances. So I felt good they needed players afana nabo Ramos in that team. Because Sergio Busquets I won. Because Jordi Alba is not really vocal, and why Sergio Busquets is not really vocal. They needed they even needed him maybe on the bench, not even playing, but on the bench to be there and tell them, guys, calm down.
Experienced player, that one.
Calm down. You have it. It's going to come.
But Futi, like the style of play is Spain in fact, but too predictable. Teams are playing that possession football, but incorporating, other elements of, that Brazil flair, maybe that a bit of English flair to the way they play soccer. But Spain is too predictable. You can see Guti Xavi was influential, Pep was influential in the way they play. There is nothing really special, It's just that Guti they have a distinguished style of play.
Yeah, but if you can check, they've improved their tiki-taka way of playing football. Sometimes when they struggle, they go direct. That's when they bring in Morata.
Yeah.
They go direct. Morata will have those tap-ins in Togonyana, because they'll see Guti. Plan A, which is the tiki-taka, is not working. Let's try and switch it up a bit and play with Morata. But Morata again, I don't know. I felt they needed a striker as strong, Pambili, who can be a nuisance to defender.
Be a bully.
Yeah, but to Morata, when they pushed him around, they knew he's not going to trouble us. This guy. So Spain. Yeah, Spain, they had a good run leading to the World Cup, but when they got to the World Cup,
they were terrible.
Yeah, the experience factor was against them.
Okay, sharp, Spain less, but you have to also give a round of applause to Morocco.
Yeah.
the first African team to, go
Reach
to the
the
semi-finals. Someone was telling me via call Pinjamu Bubbles, Ati, South Africa, our nicknames, Bubbles, so he's telling me, Morocco never had that African support from us like Ghana did back in the day. When Ghana was playing, we felt in love with Ghana. Now, mind you, we still talk about the Ghana Uruguay match. But in terms of Morocco, there was never that thing. This game maybe Senegal.
Yeah, I think Mara, that comes from the fact that they also don't feel African, you know. Yeah, they are in Africa on paper, but they don't feel African.
They don't feel African.
Yeah, they don't take themselves as Africans, you know.
Yeah.
So I think support isuka lapho, Ghana, not only because the skin color sifana nesethu as Africans,
Yeah.
but they also feel ukuthi vele they are Africans. If you know they have most players playing abroad, but they always feel ukuthi we are Africans because they are actually Africans. But those ones they don't,
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't blame people who did not support them because
now, here's the thing.
yeah,
Sharp, they don't feel like Africans. Look, second half year France Argentina match. Coach capable, player.
Giroud,
They were
Dembele,
only African players except for Loris
yeah,
in the field of play
yeah,
who fought till the end.
yeah.
What's that? What does that tell you about African players and the possibility of us massing at all the right facilities, the right support that we can actually flourish? FIFA definitely needs to increase the benchmark of these 5 nations from
Yeah,
Africa.
I think
But TJ, we have 66 nations here.
I think they said the next World Cup they are increasing. They're going to have 24 teams competing for World Cup.
2014 competing for World Cup.
Yeah,
There's currently 32 on it.
or going to increase the number of teams.
By 24.
I'm not sure how many they're
Okay.
going to have, but they're going to increase the number of teams in the World Cup. Currently, Africa we have 5, and then they said they're going to have something about around 8 teams coming from
poor,
Africa. Man. So
then Europe kuyafana there are 13 in Europe. We world champion kuba na 14. So now that means is a lot. Europe basically bazama ukuthi Europe must come. All of it must come and play.
yeah, so but again, you look at countries that are trying to compete, African countries that are trying to compete are trying to compete against European teams. You look at their players, where do they play? And do they play consistently now? You look at, for instance, Ghana, as you've mentioned, the players that they have there. They have Abu Mohamed Kudus, who plays regularly for Ajax. They have the Ayub brothers, one plays regularly for Crystal Palace. They have Upate, Arsenal. They have Amate. They have all of those players playing regularly for their teams in top leagues. So I think for South Africa now to try and compete at the world stage, we need to start having players who are competing at the very highest level. And currently we don't even have such players who are competing in top level leagues. Nje asibale nje ukuthi sesingasabali England. Let's look at France. We don't have players who are competing in Liga abadlala laphaya.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. We don't have those players. And we look at our neighbors, about Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon. They have players competing. Look at the Cameroon. They have Eric Choupo-Moting scoring regularly for Bayern Munich before the World Cup. When Sadio Mane got injured, he was there scoring goals regularly. He walked literally into the Cameroon team. So you go to Senegal, Nakona, they have Mane, they have other players, even though most of them they're not playing at the highest leagues, but they have players who are playing in Europe regularly. So
That's the difference maker.
yeah, so it's going to be a while until we see South Africa playing World Cup for me personally.
You know, episode 4 of our first season is sakhuluma with the appointment yaka Motsipe. Ukuthi, you know, what are his plans for Africa,
Yeah.
and one of his plans was definitely with an African team he win the World Cup, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we have to definitely give him applause with okay sharp in his tenure. He has seen an African team get to the semi-finals, top four of the best 32 teams in the world.
Yeah.
Nakona the best 4 in the world, in fact.
Yeah.
Yabona. So, you know, we have to give props to him, Yabona, commend his impact. I saw he was part of the people who were handing out my medal on that third, fourth place, you know. And then, you know, the big topic, you know, but maybe we have covered it, the Argentina-France match, you know.
Yeah, you know, on that game, I felt Messi so Guti debating, he has actually passed it on, and he has nothing to worry about.
Yeah, sure.
He has nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
I think Mbappe has proven Guti.
He's capable.
He's capable.
He's capable.
He's capable. I think that France team was dead for the better part of the game. Was dead, yeah. Including him. But he showed Guti, you cannot rule out best players in the world.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
And when he stood up, he shook the world.
Oh, Mbappe raised this. Mbappe, Mina, he scared me in that game where he scored 2 goals in V2, and against I think in the round of 16.
Yeah.
Before the England match, they were playing against, I forgot, but he scored 2
Australia.
goals. Australia.
Yeah.
The composure, Joe, of that boy. Yo. Uguti picks a spot where he's gonna score kuma goal post. Lahle.
Yeah.
Even luck, no so. That hat-trick go final.
Yeah.
Hat-trick go final.
When last did you hear of that?
Yo, I've never seen it in my lifetime. Ronaldo ndota previous World Cup wavula i-World Cup nge-hat-trick. Mbappe vala i-World Cup nge-hat-trick. I have to give the boy credit.
Yeah,
He's the one.
Yeah, the only thing that's left for him now is to play for a proper team.
The only thing left for him is to win the Champions League. And he was always carrying a PSG. These two guys, Messi and Neymar, are not doing anything for PSG. Mbappe was the one scoring and waiting. The defenders must defend. He can't do everything.
But I don't think he'll win the Champions League for as long as he's playing for PSG.
And that's okay. I mean, he has the World Cup. 2 finals, back to back.
Yeah, but remember, players, in fact, want to be, top players want to be remembered in every single competition that was there.
Yeah, no, he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, then
he's only 23 years old.
But remember, these 2 guys that he's taking over from.
Yeah.
At his age, they were already winning the Champions League.
But they were not winning the World Cup.
Yeah,
I mean, the biggest tournament is a World Cup. The Champions League in
Yeah, but the World Cup, you remember, you're playing it with your national team.
You know?
Yeah. And the Champions League, you have you choose where you want to play.
Yes.
Unlike your World Cup, you don't choose where you want to play.
Yes.
You know you're from France, you're going to play for France. But the Champions League, you can go choose to play in the best team that there is.
No,
and currently the
best team will always be your country. That is the best team. Why? Because these are the best 11 players of our country. But club football, those are not the best 11 players in the league.
That's the best 11 players all over the world.
Oh.
All over
When
the
you
world.
win the World Cup, you are considered the best team in the world.
When you
World
win the
champion.
Champions League, you are it's considered the biggest club
Competition.
in the competition.
Yes, but that's when we see for your country. That's when we see Guti. That country has this particular star. That country has this particular star, and they are the best in the world. Not for a club. The club has
The
a
Champions League now
combination.
ungakhohlwa star.
Yeah, yeah. I know. See, vanilla for fresh.
So
Debate.
Mbappe
Yeah.
has to go play for a proper team.
Which proper team?
I mean, there's only one team that has proven its worth in the Champions League for the past 10 years.
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid in 2014,
Yeah.
they only had won the Champions League how many times? 9 times.
Yeah, that was La Decima.
Exactly. So, fast forward 10 years later, how many times have they won the Champions League now?
Baku 14 khona manje.
3 times in a row. Skipped 1 year not in being in the final, knocked out in the semi-final. The following year they go to the final, they win it.
Consistency. Yeah.
The following year they go again. Come on, guys.
No. So okay, Real Madrid.
Real Madrid have proven without a shadow of a doubt, irregardless good nabo ngiyabafavor, but they've proven ukuthi they are a team. Makufuna ukuyobhala incwadi nge-Champions
No,
League.
but even in Barcelona, you can argue with but they stand a chance. Before Madrid winner, or even after Madrid winner, before they had 3, Barcelona was there already. Messi had 4 Champions Leagues. I mean, equally so. They only have 5 now, but they had 4 at some point, and they had 1 at some point. But Messi already had 3 and won 4 when they had only 1. I'm saying, if it doesn't go for Real Madrid, definitely go to Barcelona. Barcelona, is the next better team. Go La Liga, for that matter.
I don't think he'll go there. But then, yeah.
It's debatable.
Yeah.
Which other team can you go to? You have PSG,
Man City.
Man City.
I
Chelsea.
think, Man City, who else can compete with Mbappe with Man City
Chelsea.
first position?
Chelsea.
I'm talking about Man City. Why I'm talking about Man City? Because Man City, I feel, is way better than Chelsea.
Yes, but Man City was beaten by Chelsea in the Champions League.
Yeah, it does not matter.
Oh! Kati, didn't you just say? Didn't you just say the best team wins the Champions League because it has the world best players? But
Yeah,
now Man City was beaten in final by Chelsea.
But if he goes to Man City, that's where he'll win the Manchester Champions League. Chelsea are never going to be in the final again.
How not? How can you?
In the next coming 3-4 seasons. Aye. And Upegi, Chelsea has one of the more balanced squads that there is. Chelsea. Goalkeeping department, they've got the best. Defense, they've got the best. Midfield, the best. Strikers, what more do you want?
Pulisic, Mbappe, or even Mbappe as a
striker.
Oh, that will be a great Chelsea.
They still have guys on the bench about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Everyone that can fit in at any club.
Don't you think Mbappe is the missing link?
I don't think so. I think Mbappe is the missing link to Manchester City. Manchester City, Mbappe can walk in. Who can compete with Mbappe? Who position Mbappe in Manchester City?
Okay,
on the left wing. Left wing.
Yeah, that side.
Foden,
Grealish wiki. Foden, no.
Mahrez wiki.
Foden,
he likes being on the left.
But he playing that
and
side.
Then he can also play on the right.
Hey, Foden, you want Foden to play with Mbappe. You don't want to bench Foden for Mbappe.
Exactly. We can put Foden on the right, Mbappe on the left.
Yeah. Haaland. Ooh! The brain. Bernardo Silva, whoever, whatever. Manchester City, definitely. But And they have the right coach.
Exactly.
Okay. I know. You know what? What do you think, Yabona? Now, hey, interesting. Little, hey, Mbappe, hey, Susokolisa, hey, this 10 years, yak,
Hola,
yes, I,
hola.
dog.